again, this is Nela for the Girl with the Curly Hair Project. And today I will be handing out 5 tips for parents who have autism. Being a parent is a daunting task at the best of times. It can be very rewarding, but it can also be very exhausting. When you're a parent with autism, it might get even a bit more trickier because you face challenges that are different from your neurotypical parent. And hopefully these 5 tips will help you get through your day a bit more easy. Tip number 1, we all know how important routine and structure is to anyone with ASD, but routine and structure is also very important for children. It offers children a net of safety in which they can explore and evolve and learn how to grow. Now, if you're a parent with ASD and you have your need for routine or structure, you probably have a schedule to which you work with or to. The schedule might be from 7 to 8 o'clock, get up, get the children out of bed, from 8 to 8:30, have breakfast, and so on and so forth. However, too rigid a structure can cause frustration when you can't really stick to it. An example for this would be if you have a lovely afternoon out and in your schedule it says from 3 to 4 is playtime, and from 4 to 4:30 is reading time, and the children want to stay out and play rather than go read, and this causes frustration for you. That would be too rigid a schedule. You may want to break your schedule down a bit more into more basic things, like from 7 to 8:30, morning routine or morning ritual. Get the children out of bed, make breakfast, get out. From 8:30 to 9, drive to work. From 9 till 3, work plus pick children up. From 3 till 5, leisure time. And from 5 to 6, dinner time. And from 6 till 8, telly time or sleeping time or whatnot. The reason why a basic structure is so important is that you can always fall back onto it. Imagine it being the foundation of your house. It's the walls of your house. That's your basic structure. And how you decide to decorate your house on that day is your more detailed structure. But you can always fall back on the walls of the house, on your basic routine and your basic structure. So that will not only make you a bit more relaxed, but will help the children feel more relaxed around you as well, because a parent who feels frustrated because they can't keep to their schedule, children will pick up on this. Children are very sensitive, and every parent will know this when it comes to picking up when you're stressed or angry or frustrated, and they will push your buttons. So having a basic routine will leave a bit more flexibility into your day to build around than having a rigid structure. Tip number 2. To socialize or not to socialize. Being a parent involves doing a number of things, and one of the things is socializing with other parents. And I want to illustrate this with an example from my father, actually. My mom and dad have fostered children for a very long time, and this one time my dad was going to pick up my youngest foster brother from which was then kindergarten, and I decided to accompany him. And the thing that stood out to me was, well, I didn't find it that exceptional because I'm autistic as much as he is autistic, is how parents all formed groups, and then there was my dad. Like standing to the side, hidden under a tree, there was my dad. And socializing with other parents is extremely difficult because you're required to have social chit-chat or talk about things that don't really interest you, and that makes it very difficult. So how do you go about? Now, my first tip on this section would be don't overextend yourself. It's one thing to want to communicate, but if it leaves you drained and tired all the time, simply don't, because it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Find parents with children who share the same hobbies that will give you something to talk about. Don't be afraid to brag about your child. Every parent is proud of their children, and every parent loves to talk about their children, so go ahead, talk about your children. And indeed, if you have parents who bring their children to the same hobbies as yours, it's always good to talk about that as well. If you do feel like you're overextending yourself, it might be good to just address this fact with other parents. Like, for example, I know how you love to talk, but I'm actually a very quiet person and I don't really have an awful lot to say. Is that okay? For example. Or, I know I'm supposed to host that play date, but I'm socially so very exhausted and I'm not sure if I can cope with all those children right now. Can we perhaps rearrange or reschedule the play date? It's okay to ask for these things. It's okay to let people know that you've overextended yourself, so don't be afraid to do that. Another tip that's really helpful, not just for the autistic parent, but for anyone, is a list of things to do. Now, they can be a curse and a blessing. A blessing because it's a list and yay, lists, but a curse because we put way too much on there. As a parent, so much is expected of us. So we have to keep a clean house, we have to do this, we have to do that, everything has to be in order. Well, forget it. You know very well as I do that it's not going to happen. It's okay if your laundry is not folded that day. It's okay to leave your dishes in the sink for a night. And it's okay to not have clean clothes to put on your children because you forgot to do the laundry. Autistics tend to have a tendency to make their lists very, very long and intrinsic. Don't do that. Ask yourself, is this absolutely necessary to do today? Do I need to vacuum? No? Scratch it. Do I need to pay that bill today? Yes, because otherwise I'll get into trouble. Do it. Do I need to go buy groceries? Yes, because otherwise I won't be able to cook dinner tonight. Do it. Do I need to go to the tank station and refill my car? No, don't do it. Prioritize and make sure you only have 5 things on your list. That keeps it narrowed down and will make you feel a lot more relaxed. Among those 5 things, make sure to add 1 thing for yourself. This can be anything. Take a nice long hot shower. And every parent knows that when you have children, that's a luxury. Do yoga. Read a book during lunchtime. Go buy a book during lunchtime. Is anything that is for you, make sure that is on the list. Your life is also about you, not just about the children and school and work and finances and keeping your house clean, but it's also about you. You are the most important factor in your own life to making sure your children have a good life as well. The next tip is your support network. When I mention support network, a lot of people think it's professionals and God's know what, but it's not. Your support network is your friend, is your neighbor, is your class teacher for your kids, is one of the parents you have contact with. Your support network is aunts, uncles, nephews and nieces, brother, sister, anyone you can relate to. And drop your children off. Take time for yourself. Every parent needs this. Every parent needs to recharge at some point. Every parent gets to the point where they're just absolutely exhausted and can't do anything anymore without wanting to, as we Belgians put it, put the children behind the wallpaper. So it's okay to actually call grandma or granddad or your brother and tell them, like, I need a night off or I need the weekend off. Can you please watch the children for me? It's okay to do that. You don't fail as a parent when you do that. Actually, you're recharging your batteries as a parent, so you can just be there as a parent. And last tip, and this is very important, comparison and expectation. Now, comparison and expectation are the mother of all disappointment. We are faced with a world who promotes a certain way of life, a certain social way of life, through commercials, through social expectations, through everything. And in that world, you are very unique as an autistic parent. The trick is to stop comparing yourself. Once you stop comparing yourself, you stop seeing the expectations of others and you do things the way they are good for you and your children. This doesn't make you a lesser parent. This doesn't make you a failure. It just makes you different, and it offers your children a very unique perspective on this world. And that is only a very, very beautiful thing. So keep to it. So these were my 5 tips for adults who are on the spectrum and also a mom or dad, or both. And I hope this was helpful, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.